Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Welcome back. My name is Brooke and today I would like to continue on with my IVF journey story with coping with loss. And in my particular situation, I was coping with the loss of our last embryo. Like you'll see in my other videos, we had our last transfer here in 2021, and we found out we were pregnant in 2022 with using a donor egg, my husband's sperm, and we found out actually on February 14th. I went to my OB's office after having a weekend of bleeding and concern that things weren't going well, that when I went into my OB's office, she said, she's looking at the ultrasound screen at the monitor, and she said, why don't you go empty your bladder? And I was like, okay, I don't feel the real big urge to pee, but if that's going to help you see, you know, the embryo, yeah, I'll go empty my bladder. So I get dressed, put my gown on, and run down to the bathroom. Come back, and she's, you know, looking at the screen. I'm like, oh no, she's, you know, delaying, she's procrastinating, telling me what's up. Because all I want to know is, do you see a heartbeat? Because, you know, my symptoms had changed. I didn't feel the embryo moving, no, not moving, but the hormones surging as much, and the implantation, the actual, I just didn't feel all of that. Usually at that point you feel your uterus is growing. You feel all of that, you know. But that's when she told me I don't see a heartbeat, and I mean, I couldn't believe we had gotten to this point. We had gotten to 9 weeks, and she was telling us that there was no heartbeat. Man. So I'm just sitting there like, no, you just can't be telling me that. But she did, and I sat there after she left, and I couldn't move. I was just stuck, and I just felt like, not only did the baby not make it, now what? Now we got to go through the process of dealing with the loss, and how I make it through the next step on how to, you know, go through the miscarriage. Either, you know, you go through a D&E, or you just let your body naturally miscarry. And I didn't want to go through another surgery. I didn't want to have to go under for them to do a D&E and remove the embryo and the embryonic tissue. And I just didn't want, I wanted to have it happen naturally. I'd never gone through miscarriage where, you know, it just happens naturally. I know it's not a great experience, but I just wanted to go through it and just have it be, you know, a part of the ending to that beautiful experience. So I just wanted to be natural. But so I went home, told my husband, mind you, he was really excited about this embryo actually implanting, and us having the plans to have a baby, because his father had just passed away, and he felt as though, you know, having, you know, his seed carry on would help deal with the grief of losing his dad. And, you know, he's really upset because his dad had just passed right before we had found out that I was pregnant. So but I said, you know, with your dad passing on, he'll see, you know, he's watching over us. He'll see us go through this process. So he'll be here supporting us through, you know, from heaven, and so his spirit realm. But unfortunately, this embryo didn't make it. And I went 2 weeks with, you know, light bleeding, thinking that the bleeding would pick up and the actual miscarriage would happen naturally, but it didn't. It just basically slowed down. There was no bleeding at all. And during this time, I actually had a trip scheduled out of town, so with my girlfriends, and I had planned to go on this trip pregnant, but I was going with the embryo still in me, but not actually miscarrying. So I went on the trip. I convinced myself to go and have a good time and try to, move through the grief, but find some, hope and communion through my friends. So I did, and I'm glad I did. When I came back, I had scheduled to have the DNA because basically it just wasn't happening. And I said, I don't want to sit here for weeks before this process actually happens. And, who knows when I'm going to start bleeding heavily and what that's going to feel like. Let's just go ahead with the DNA. So I scheduled that with my OB's office, and that was scheduled for the Monday when I came back from vacation. So I went in for it, and that went well. Wasn't easy going through that. It was a lot of cramping, much worse than a period. Excuse me, but I know it was an option to help to get through the miscarriage. So actually, being as though today is at the end of 3 weeks, I'm almost 4 weeks past my DNA, and the bleeding's still going. So sorry to be so graphic and TMI, but it's, real of what the experience is like for me going through the surgery. So basically, my nurse was telling me that each week I've been going in to get my blood work to see if my HCG level has returned to 0. And last Friday, I went in for my lab work and it was at number 4. So this is 3 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. And my level of HCG hormone was still at 4. So she said, okay, let's go another week. So I went, so I go in tomorrow, but I want to talk more about how I coped with the loss, because this, at this point, is my 3rd loss. And, you have a little bit of, besides the anxiety and all that roller coaster emotions you have going through IVF, when you have the loss, it's like, it just can't be that you have gone this far and yet still something didn't go right. So, I relied on my spiritual realm and my friends and my family. I actually didn't tell my family. Nobody even knows, because I didn't want to tell people that we were pregnant again and not know until I wanted to get to 12 weeks before we tell anybody, because it's our 3rd pregnancy, and I was not comfortable having to tell people that we were pregnant. Wasn't sure how things were going to go. So now I'm ready to talk about it. And so I work with my coaches. There's a number of mindset tools and skill tools that you go through to help with that and help to deal with the sadness and deal with the grief and deal with the loss. So, as of yesterday, me and my mom got together for a Ziva masterclass. And during that masterclass, she has you meditate at first, but then she says animals actually shake off their stress. And that's how they release. And my release up until that point was through, my regular stress management techniques, and realizing that, yes, you still have hope. Realize that, this baby did not, I don't get to determine whether this baby stays or not. That's the baby's decision, the embryo's decision. So, for some reason, the embryo, it was not its time. So I'm still waiting for the time that the embryo's ready to stay. So knowing that, even yesterday, she has you do like a body movement where you're shaking and you're releasing that stress and you're thinking about things that are making you upset so you can release it. And then immediately after you release it, you go into like a praise dance and start dancing. She actually turned on Lizzo's song, and she has us dancing to that. So it was a whole Zoom. It was funny. And my mom's like, I was like, yeah, we're just gonna go with it. It's Lizzo. So I'm dancing and you start feeling good, but you're also, I also found it useful to do like a journal of what I was actually feeling. I also listened to another Zoom call today that talked about how you release your grief and deal with loss. And it's important that you write it down and help to release it. If you're not talking to anyone or going to therapy, yeah, you got to write it down just to get it out. And because you don't want your organs to hold on to that anger and grief, because that's what your body does. It listens to your thoughts. So you want those thoughts to come out, and you want those thoughts to have hope. Of course, I have sadness, but I also have hope. And my hope is, whether it be whatever your hope may be, but my hope is that the embryo that we implant next time will be ready to stay. But some people's hope is that, we're done. We've gone through the journey and things like that. So whatever your hope is, do find hope in it. And that's been important. And then my shirt says good vibes only. So of course, I'm human and you don't only have good vibes. And I don't think that's healthy to only have good vibes as far as your thought process goes. It's not all positive. And even though I have mantras that I practice to help keep my mindset in the right direction, you still have those negative thoughts as human behavior. And I'm not always positive, but what meditation helps you do is when those thoughts come in, learning how to stop them and then change it to a what if that's positive. So it's helping to get you out of that mindset so your body knows and your mindset is in line with having that hope and pushing through with that hope in the end. So yeah, we're going to accept and we're going to deal with the grief and we're going to deal with the sadness, but we're also going to have the mindset that yes, we're still going to push on. We're not going to stay in that place. We're going to find what did we learn from that challenge that we went through and use that to propel us for success for the next challenge that we face, so we can be successful in the end. So at this point, all of my challenges that I've had in my IVF journey has certainly helped me and helped me learn about myself. I mean, if it wasn't for me going through this journey, I probably would have never learned of my endometriosis. I would have never learned how to eat better, have more healthy habits. So, I appreciate and love the journey, and I'm looking forward to having a healthy pregnancy in the end. So that's my hope. That's my belief system, and I believe my body can. So there is another habit that I like to do when I'm dealing with this is, besides my meditation, besides, releasing it, but it's putting those thoughts in that show me actually being pregnant, me actually being a mom, whatever that means for me. So I've done that, and I continue to do that because that's where I would like to end up. It's more or less like I'm in a race and I can see myself finishing the race. That's where I see myself finishing. So I am currently a mom of 3 beautiful kids, and I also have 2 bonus daughters. But my husband and I, like I said in my first video, that we want to complete our family. So whether it be a boy or a girl, we're just happy to have another member of our family come and welcome that new family member. So yes, I do believe that I will conquer my challenges with my endometriosis and my hypothyroidism, and still carry a healthy pregnancy. And by the way, my age is also a factor. So being as though I'm 43 now, I'm still trying to age backwards. So that's where I have put all these things, healthy habits, into place to help my body not age so quickly. So removing the toxins, drinking lots of water, supporting my liver. And I do that with the help of many coaches. So I'll tell you exactly what coaches I am working with and that have helped me make better healthy choices. So I think it's all been good. All been good overall in helping to make this go a lot better than doing it on my own. especially just doing it with my clinic. I think you need a good amount of support to make sure you are tuning into your body to support your body. Fertility is like the fifth, your period is your fifth vital sign, so being able to get pregnant is a part of being healthy. So that's what I strive to do. But my heart goes out to anyone that may have gone through a similar situation. I do understand that it is hard, but hopefully some of the things I mentioned today may help you. It has certainly helped me, and it's never easy. It really sucks, and you really you really sometimes you want to give up, but you don't, unless you feel as though you're giving up is a part of the process to help you move in a positive direction, and that is related to your fertility. But my fertility journey has not ended. We're not done. We'll be done when the baby comes, or when God says, you know, that's it. But I do believe that our fertility journey will end with the baby. So, all right, I love you all. Thanks for being here and sharing these moments with me. And if you can leave me a comment, leave me a like, share this video, and subscribe. All right, bye.